Let's be honest, we all take the sun for granted. It just comes up every morning. But have you ever really stopped to think about what would happen if one day it just didn't? It sounds like something out of a wild sci-fi movie, I know, but walking through this crazy scenario is actually the best way to really appreciate how much our star does for us.
All right, so let's do it. Let's run the thought experiment. Right now, this very instant, poof, the sun vanishes. It doesn't explode, it doesn't fade out, it's just gone. So what happens next? Well, the answer is way stranger and, frankly, a lot more terrifying than you probably think. So here's the first mind-bending part of this whole cosmic catastrophe. For a little while, we wouldn't even have a clue. Seriously, right here on Earth, life would just carry on. We'd be in total, blissful ignorance that the very heart of our solar system just stopped beating.
Yep, that's the number. 8 minutes and 20 seconds. That's how long our peace would last. Now, you're probably wondering, why isn't it instant? Well, it's because that's how long it takes for the very last rays of sunlight to travel the 150 million kilometers to get to us. But you know what's really wild? It's not just the light.
And this gets to one of the coolest, most fundamental rules of the universe. Thanks to Albert Einstein, we know that nothing, and I mean nothing, not even gravity, can travel faster than light. So the news that the sun's massive gravitational pull has vanished, well, it travels at the exact same speed as its last little bit of light. So you can picture it like this. At the 8-minute, 20-second mark, two things happen at the exact same time. One, the sky instantly snaps to pitch black, and two, the gravitational leash holding Earth in its orbit just breaks. In that one single moment, our world changes forever.
Okay, so the 8 minutes and 20 seconds are up. What happens now? Well, with the sun's gravity gone, Earth basically becomes an untethered wanderer. Our planet is now just adrift in the cold, dark void, and the consequences hit us immediately.
This is the perfect way to think about it. For billions of years, we've been spinning around the sun like a ball on a string. The second that string of gravity snaps, we don't just spiral out of control. Nope, we just keep going, flying off in a perfectly straight line. And we'd be moving fast, insanely fast. That speed, 108,000 kilometers per hour, that was our orbital speed. Now, it's our escape velocity. Our planet is now a rogue world, just hurtling through the cosmos with absolutely no destination. And our view, or I guess our only view now, would change in a hurry. After the sun winks out, the moon, which remember only shines because it reflects sunlight, it would go dark just 1.3 seconds later. Then, one by one, the other planets would fade away. The only light we'd have left would be the distant stars, shining on their own in a sky that is now permanently, completely dark. Think about it. All these fundamental concepts that have defined life on Earth, they would just cease to exist. There's no more day, no more night, no more seasons. The sun is the engine for all our weather, so that means no more wind, no more rain, no more clouds, just a cold, still, and endless darkness. So we're adrift. We're in total darkness. The next big problem? The cold. Without the sun's constant energy, our planet, our atmosphere, our oceans, which are like these giant heat batteries, would start to bleed their warmth out into the blackness of space. And the temperature drop would be fast. I mean, shockingly fast. Within a single week, the average temperature across the entire globe would hit freezing. Just imagine that. From the equator to the poles, the whole planet would be locked in a winter that will never, ever end. And it doesn't stop there. Not even close. Within just 1 year, the surface temperature would plummet to a horrifying negative 73 degrees Celsius. That's minus 100 Fahrenheit. That is colder than the coldest temperature ever recorded in Antarctica. Any life left on the surface would be completely impossible.
But here's where it gets really interesting. While the surface would become an ice-covered wasteland in just a few months, the oceans, they're a whole different story. Shielded by a thick crust of ice, the deep water would actually hold onto heat from Earth's own molten core for an incredibly long time. It would take a full 1,000 years for our oceans to freeze solid.
So, as the planet is freezing over, the biological engine that powers almost everything on Earth would just grind to a halt. The entire food chain, which is built on one simple, sun-powered process, would collapse with terrifying speed. It's a brutal but really simple domino effect. The moment the sun is gone, photosynthesis stops. Cold. Without sunlight, most plants are dead within weeks. With nothing to eat, The herbivores starve, and without them, the carnivores and even the scavengers, they're next. The entire system just completely unravels from the bottom up.
But, and this is a huge but, not all life on Earth actually needs the sun. This chart shows the huge difference. While our entire surface world, everything based on photosynthesis, would be wiped out, another, totally separate form of life would be completely unaware that anything had even happened.
Way down on the ocean floor, you've got these incredible ecosystems thriving around hydrothermal vents. These little guys, these extremophiles, they don't use sunlight at all. They use something called chemosynthesis, turning heat and chemicals from the Earth's core into energy. For them, the sun disappearing would mean absolutely nothing. Life would just go on, maybe for billions of years.
Okay, so some very specific life could survive. But what about us? Could humanity somehow find a way to make it in this frozen, sunless world? Honestly, the challenge would be almost impossible. But theoretically, there is a path.
Our only shot would be to go deep, deep underground, probably in places with a lot of geothermal heat, like Iceland. We'd have to power these underground cities with geothermal and nuclear energy, growing all of our food in massive hydroponic farms. It'd be an existence of constant, extreme survival, making the research stations in Antarctica today look like a tropical vacation. So, let's say a small fraction of humanity manages to cling to life near the planet's warm core. What's the ultimate fate of Earth itself? What happens to our rogue planet as it just sails endlessly through interstellar space?
And this is what we'd become, a dead, ice-covered rock hurtling through the dark. Our past as a vibrant, blue and green world would be nothing more than a frozen memory, locked away beneath miles and miles of ice.
But there is one last, tiny, almost impossible glimmer of hope. In its endless journey, after millions, maybe even billions of years, Earth could drift into the gravitational pull of another star. And if, and this is a huge if, it settled into a stable orbit at just the right distance, the ice could melt and life could, in theory, start all over again. But the odds of that happening are, well, they're astronomical. So it leaves us with this final thought. If our planet did become this frozen tomb wandering the cosmos forever, what would be the last piece of evidence that we were even here? What would be the final, silent testament to humanity?